this video, I am explaining Class 7 Social Science Geography, Lesson 5 Water. So, I think this video is helpful for you. So, please watch the video until the end. Water. Water. The sun's heat causes evaporation of water into vapor. When the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms clouds. From there itself, it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow, or sleet. The process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between oceans, atmosphere, and land is known as the water cycle. Our Earth is like a terrarium. The same water that existed centuries ago still exists today. The water used to irrigate a field in Haryana may have flowed down the Amazon River 100 years ago. The major sources of fresh water are the rivers, ponds, springs, and glaciers. The ocean bodies and the seas contain salty water. The water of the oceans is salty or saline as it contains large amount of dissolved salts. Most of the salt is sodium chloride or the common table salt that you eat. We all know that three-fourths of the Earth's surface is covered by water. If there is more water than land on this earth, why do so many countries face water scarcity? Is there all the water on the earth available to us? The following table gives the distribution of water in percentage. Oceans 97.3%, ice caps 2%, groundwater 0.68%, freshwater lakes 0.009%, inland seas and salt lakes 0.009%, atmosphere 0.0019%, and rivers 0.0001%. So total is 100%. And oceans is saline water and all ice caps, groundwater, freshwater lakes, inland seas and salt lakes, atmosphere, rivers are freshwater. Do you know salinity is the amount of salt in grams present in 1000 grams of water? The average salinity of the oceans is 35 parts per thousand. Dead Sea in Irassil has salinity of 340 grams per liter of water. Swimmers can float in it because the increased salt content makes it dense. A small activity. Take 2 liters of water. Let us represent the total water on the surface of the earth. Measure out 12 spoons of water from the vessel into another bowl. The water that is left behind in the vessel represents the salty water found in oceans and seas. This water is obviously not fit for consuming. It is saline, which is contains salts. The 12 spoons of water that was taken in a bowl is the total amount of fresh water on the earth. The figure shows us the distribution of the fresh water. See yourself how much water you actually be used by you. 9 spoons equals to ice caps, 2 spoons equal to groundwater, half spoon equal to freshwater lakes, 1 drop equal to rivers. Distribution of water bodies. Water is absolutely essential for survival. Water alone can quench our thirst when we are thirsty. Now, don't you think we are wasting a precious resource when we use water carelessly? Ocean circulation. There is something magical about walking bare feet on the seashore. The wet sand on the beach, the cool breeze, the birds, the seabirds, the smell of the salt in the air, and music of the waves, everything is so fascinating. Unlike the calm waters of ponds and lakes, ocean water keeps moving continuously. It is never still. The movements that occur in oceans can be broadly categorized as waves, tides, and currents. Do you know March 22 is celebrated as World Water Day when the need to conserve water is reinforced in different ways. Waves are formed when winds scrape across the ocean surface. The stronger the wind blows, the bigger the wave becomes. Tsunami is a Japanese word that means harbor waves, as the harbors get destroyed whenever there is tsunami. Waves. When you are playing throw ball on the beach and the ball falls into the water, what happens? It is fun to watch how the ball gets washed back to the shores by the waves. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternatively, they are called waves. During a storm, the winds blowing at very high speed of forms huge waves. These may cause tremendous destruction. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslides can shift large amounts of ocean water. As a result, a huge tidal wave called tsunami that may be as high as 15 meters is formed. The largest tsunami ever measured was 150-meter high. These waves travel at a speed of more than 700 km per hour. The tsunami of 2004 caused widespread damage in the coastal areas of India. The Indira Point in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands got submerged after the tsunami, the Earth's pandemonium. Tsunami or the harbor wave struck havoc in the Indian Ocean on the 26th December 2004. The wave was the result of the earthquake that had its epicenter close to the western boundary of Sumatra. The magnitude of the earthquake was 9 on the Richter scale. As, as the Indian plate went under the Burma plate, there was a sudden movement of the sea floor causing earthquake. The floor was displaced by about 10 to 20 meters and tilted in a downwardly direction. Mass of ocean water flowed to fill in the gap that was being created by the displacement. This marked the withdrawal of the water mass from the coastlines of the landmasses in the South and Southeast Asia. After thrusting of the Indian plate below the Burma plate, the water mass rushed back towards the coastline. Tsunami traveled at a speed of 800 kilometers per hour, comparable to speed of commercial aircraft, and completely washed away some of the islands in the Indian Ocean. The Indira Point in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands that marked the southernmost point of India got completely submerged. As the wave moved from earthquake epicenter from Sumatra towards the Andaman Islands and Sri Lanka, the wavelength decreased with decreasing depth of water. The travel speed also declined from 700 to 900 km per hour to less than 70 kilometers per hour. Tsunami waves traveled up to a depth of 3 kilometers from the coast, killing more than 10,000 people and affected more than 1 lakh of houses. In India, the worst affected were the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. While the earthquake cannot be predicted in advance, it is possible to give a 3-hour notice on a potential tsunami. Such early warning systems are in a place across the Pacific Ocean, but not in the Indian Ocean. Tsunamis are rare in Indian Ocean as the seismic activity is less than compared to the Pacific. Here we can see the picture of the damage caused due to the tsunami. Tsunami that ravaged the South and Southeast Asian coasts in December 2004 is the most devastating tsunami in the last several hundred years. The large damage caused to life and property was primarily a result of lack of monitoring, the early warning systems, and knowledge among the coast dwellers of Indian Ocean. The first indication that tsunami is approaching is the rapid withdrawal of water from the coastal region followed by destructive wave. When this happened on the coast, instead of people going to high ground, they started assembling at the coast to view this miracle. As a consequence, there was a large casualty of curious onlookers when the gigantic wave tsunami struck. Tides. The rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day is called a tide. It is high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising to its highest level. It is low tide when water falls to its lowest level and recedes from the shore. The strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and the moon on the earth's surface causes the tides. The water of the earth closer to the moon gets pulled under the influence of the moon's gravitational force and causes high tide. During the full moon and new moon days, the sun of the moon and the earth in the same line and the tides are highest. These tides are called spring tides. But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean waters get drawn in diagonally opposite directions by the gravitational pull of sun and moon, resulting in low tides. These tides are called neap tides. High tides help in navigation. These raise the water level close to the shores. This helps the ships to arrive at the harbor more easily. The high tides also help in fishing. Many more fish come closer to the shore during the high tide. This enables fishermen to get a plentiful catch. The rise and fall of water due to tides is being used to generate electricity in some places. Currents. Ocean currents are streams of water flowing constantly on the ocean surface in definite directions. The ocean currents may be warm or cold. Generally, the warm ocean currents originate near the equator and move towards the poles. The cold currents carry water from polar or higher region, higher latitudes to tropical or lower latitudes. The Labrador Ocean current is cold current while the Gulf Stream is a warm current. The ocean current influences the temperature conditions of the area. Warm currents being about warm temperature over land surface. The areas where the warm and cold currents meet provide the best fishing grounds of the world. Seas around Japan and the eastern coast of North America are such examples. The areas where a warm and cold current meet also experience foggy weather, making it difficult for navigation. Please give a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.